The PlayStation 5 is coming. We just don't know when, but we could be getting closer to a reveal. So there's some interesting PlayStation 5 news that came out today. Firstly, PlayStation finally launched their PlayStation 5 website or PlayStation 5 webpage on the PlayStation.com URL. Basically, it's just a landing page right now where you can go and sign up for more information that will be eventually coming out when they finally talk about the PS5. But depending on how you look at it, this could mean absolutely nothing, or this could mean that some sort of announcement is imminent within the next few weeks or so. My prediction for a pretty long time now has been that the PlayStation 5 announcement will be coming in February. So I'm going to stick with that, and I'm going to say that it is going to be announced before the end of the month. We are only February 4th now, so that could be likely, but I mean, if they push it to March or April, I wouldn't be too surprised. But I think with this landing page, it is signs of things to come. Now, that was just the first thing that was interesting about the PlayStation 5 today. There was a second news article about the PS5 price and basically how they're going about pricing the console. So during Sony's Q3 earnings call, Chief Financial Officer Hiroki Totoki talked about the PlayStation 5 coming out and how they want to have a smooth transition from the PS4 to the PS5. He was then asked about the price of the PlayStation 5, and he gave a pretty long, vague answer. However, if you really dive deep into it, you can kind of sort of get an understanding of where he's coming from, what he's trying to say. So let's see what he said. First, we must absolutely control the labor cost, the personal cost. It must be controlled, and it leads to what should be recognized as cost. We will definitely control that. And the initial ramp up, how much can we prepare? Initially, we will work on the production and the sales, and we will have to prepare the right volume as we launch this. So like I said, it's pretty vague. There's more to what he said, but this first part, he's really, I think, just talking about how much they are going to produce for the launch. And they're going to base this on a few things. They're obviously going to base this on pre-order numbers. So when they announce the PlayStation 5, when it's going to come out, they're going to take pre-orders for it, and they're going to have a pretty good understanding of how much demand there is for the PS5. They're obviously going to look at their consumer base right now with the PS4 now over 100 million consoles sold, so it's pretty large. And they're also going to look just kind of like the historical data of the PS3 and how many fans they had from that who jumped over to the PS4. They're going to look at all that market stuff, and they're going to come up with a number of how many consoles they think that they need to produce in order to meet the demand of the PlayStation 5, and probably make a little bit less to create more demand for it. Then he goes on to say, what is not clear or visible, it's because we are competing in the space. So it's very difficult to discuss anything about the price at this point of time. And depending upon the price level, we may have to determine the promotion that we are going to deploy and how much cost we prepare to pay. So it's a question of balance. Now this paragraph, I mean, it is vague as well, but it's pretty clear cut for me in the sense that I think he's talking about the fact that they're going to be taking a loss on this console, but just how much of a loss are they willing to take in order to ship and sell units. And this is pretty common. I mean, if you look at the history of video games and you look at the history of video game console launches, the majority of the time they actually take losses on the console, especially particularly when you look at the PS3 and the Xbox 360 era. They both took pretty big losses on their console per unit when they were first launched. And then as the years went by, they obviously increased the technology. They had more efficient ways of making the console. They released more slimmer consoles, meaning that they were able to use less materials. The technology obviously gets cheaper as the years go on, so then they start making their money on the console sales. But at launch, most of the time, they're going to be taking a loss. And it's going to be no different, I think, with the Xbox Series X and the PS5. However, the question of how much loss they want to take is what he's trying to talk about here, what he's trying to figure out, what Sony is going to have to figure out before the PS5 is launched. And then finally, he goes on to say, and because it's a balancing act, it's very difficult to say anything concrete at this point of time. But when I said a smooth transition, we mean that we will definitely choose the optimal approach and that we would try to have the best balance so that we will be profitable in the life during the life of this product. And here what I think he is pretty much saying is that they want to make the best price possible at launch, like they did with the PS4, so they can get off to a good start and then they can start making money off their unit sales as soon as possible. If you remember with the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, the launch price was a big deal breaker for a lot of people. The Xbox One was $100 more, and it got absolutely destroyed at launch, mainly because of that. Or at least that was one of the major reasons. I mean, the Kinect and the terrible E3 with the DRM and all that stuff with the Xbox One, even though that got completely turned around, was a pretty big hit. But that $100 price tag between the PS4 and the Xbox One was massive. And Xbox One really just could never recover from that in terms of hardware sales. Now with the Xbox Series X being announced, we know it's coming in the holidays. We kind of know most of the specs for it and everything. We've seen the leaked photos of the Xbox Series X. However, we don't know the price, and PlayStation and Sony are waiting on the Xbox Series X to announce their price before they go in and say what the price of the PS5 is going to be. And I really think this is all just business games. Like Microsoft is probably kind of doing the same thing, they just haven't announced it yet. I don't really think that really means anything. I don't think that says anything about the power of the PS5, what it's going to be able to do, the games it's going to have to launch, or anything like that. I honestly think this is just the way that business goes. And quite honestly, Microsoft is probably waiting for the PS5 to release their price before they put a price tag on the Xbox Series X. So who knows when we're actually get the prices for these, but I will be surprised if one is significantly priced differently than the other. It was clear in the last generation how much of a detriment that was. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about this because with not a lot of information out there about the PlayStation 5, this kind of gets you a little bit more hyped, thinking that an announcement may be imminent. I mean, it may not as well, but hopefully it is, and hopefully more information will be coming out in the next couple of weeks about the PS5, because I am extremely excited to see how it compares to the Xbox Series X. So we can stop with all of these rumors, we can stop with all of these what if debates, and we can really get a good comparison between the two consoles. So I would love to know what you guys think about this. Let me know if you think that announcement is coming very soon. Let me know what you think about these price strategies that Sony is employing. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new to this channel, and I'll catch you in the next video.